Hello and welcome to the sixth video in the Bubble Beginners Program series. In this video, we are going to go over app privacy. Now, what we mean by app privacy really has to do with data sensitivity and security. As you're collecting potentially confidential or sensitive data about your users, you want to make sure that you're actively securing that data and only showing it to the relevant parties that need to access that data. This is a fundamentally important concept to Bubble as you want to make sure, again, that you're only showing data to users that they should be accessing. So let's go over that with some examples. If we take a look at our database here, we have users, we have sellers, we have products, we have product transactions. Now, going over to privacy, this is where we create rules for all of our data types. As we can see here, for user, we have a specific rule for them. So here, by default, Bubble adds user's own data. When this user is current user, this is what they can do. Everyone else, this is what they can see. Now, in some cases, Bubble by default has this user as current user. That's not necessarily exactly correct, right? Maybe other users can see information about other users. So for example, if this user is current user, okay, that's great. They can view all fields about them. Everyone else, they probably want to be able to see other users' first names, maybe their top 250 hobbies, maybe their create a date and their slug and perhaps their email as well. Right? Now, we don't only have to have one rule, we can have more than one rule for every data type. So let's break it down into an actual real world example. Product transactions occur when a buyer and seller interact together, where the buyer purchases an item from a seller in our marketplace. Now, this database entry is created on that purchase. So, who should really be able to see data about this product transaction? In essence, really only the seller and the buyer should see this details about this transaction. Other people on the marketplace don't necessarily need to see the data about this product transaction. Perhaps admin users, right? Admins and the business owner, etc., should be able to see data about this as well, which we can add as a rule. But let's go ahead and add a rule for only the buyer and the seller to be able to see this product transaction. So let's define a new rule and we'll say buyer and seller. Now, rule names are really just for you to be able to understand what's going on. No one that's actually using the application can see the rule name. So now we need to add a statement. When X is true, the people that match this rule can see X. Everyone else can see Y. Okay, so for buyer and seller, we'll say when this product transaction's buyer is current user, and then we'll say or this product transaction's seller, and then we'll say creator is current user. Now they can see all of the fields. Right? So now, as long as I'm either the buyer or the seller, I can see all fields about this. Everyone else, I'm going to just turn off everything. So this is securely storing the data of my application and making sure that only the buyer and seller can see details about this product transaction. Now, I did bring up an example use case where an admin of the business or the application can see that data as well. So what we need to do is in data types, in user, we'll create a new field called admin with a question mark, and we'll say yes, no, and click create. So now for every user, they have this admin field, and by default, most of them will be no. But some of them, right, whoever works on your application, we'll have yes as the admin field here. So within privacy, we can define a new rule, and we can say admin. We'll go ahead and create that, and we'll say when this user admin we'll say is yes. So now we'll say they can view all fields. So when you think about app privacy, understand that what you're defining here is really for a specific instance. It's not, if this person is an admin, just let them see everything. And by the way, I just realized that I created an admin for the user. So let's delete that. So we'll go to product transaction. We'll define a new rule. We'll say admin. And we'll say when current user admin is yes. Now they can see everything. Okay, so for our rules here, we have if the user is an admin, they can see everything about a specific product transaction. Or on the other hand, if the current user is either the buyer or the seller of the product, right, then they can see the fields, but everyone else cannot see anything about that specific instance. And as I was saying a little earlier, when you think about privacy settings, really think about them as a specific instant of a product transaction, of a product, of a seller, of a user. Meaning, every single rule you have is this product transaction, meaning that when the user is looking at that specific entry in the database, don't think about it as a whole product transaction. Think about the user is looking at a specific instance of this, of an entry in that database. What should they be able to see? What should be hidden from them? So hopefully this helps. Definitely go through this. Typically, what we advise our clients and our community is consider app data privacy either at the very start once you're building your application or at the very end. There's no real need to start creating rules in the middle of your build. Either do it at the very start or do it at the very end. But please make sure that you have privacy settings and rules in place before you launch your application. You definitely do not want everything visible to your users. Of course, there are some things that you are happy to be completely visible to all users, but there are definitely some items that you want to make sure need to be limited to a specific core set of users. So thank you so much for watching. We will see you in our next video.